Today, I'm playing Bugs Bunny Lost in Time for the PlayStation 1, but I'm adding an extra level of difficulty to the playthrough, Retro Achievements. I'll have to take on 21 entire levels, which include collectibles, chase sections, boss fights, and I'll have to unlock some of the most difficult achievements I've had to do on the channel so far. With 56 achievements to grab to earn that sweet Retro Achievements mastery, it's time to dive in. We see Bugs Bunny come across a time machine. Mistaking it for a carrot juicer, Bugs accidentally starts up the machine and becomes lost in time. Our journey begins in nowhere. Here, we meet Merlin, a powerful wizard who tells us to collect clock symbols and golden carrots in order to make it back to the present. Nowhere acts as our tutorial island, where we learn all of Bugs Bunny's abilities. We can sneak, kick, jump into rabbit holes and move underground, pick up and throw objects, bounce, use items to attack. Bugs can use his ears as a helicopter to softly land on fragile objects. We can push heavy objects and pick up boxes to reach higher places. And we can defeat enemies by rolling, jumping, and kicking. By collecting our 10th golden carrot of this level, Merlin rewards us with our first clock symbol, which pops the achievement Time Travel Tutorial, our first achievement towards the mastery. And then we jump into the time machine. This is our era select screen, and right now we have one era of time we can travel to, the Stone Age. We jump into the first level, Wabbit on the Run. We see a Stone Age Elmer Fudd talking to some cavemen. As we appear, he sends the cavemen after us, but luckily for us, a boulder blocks the way. I love this level. Seeing the purple dinosaurs and hearing the music again after so many years got me so excited for this playthrough. The first area, Dinosaur Mountain, has us jump on the heads of Brachiosaurus and fight cavemen scattered around the level who try to attack us. This game doesn't rely on lives, just checkpoints. So if at any point I get damaged too many times, or I die by running off the edge like a complete idiot, I'll just be teleported back to the last checkpoint. Carrying on through the level, I find a bunch of clocks and golden carrots, jump on more dinosaurs, balance on rocks, cross a giant bridge, and get whacked by a caveman. One frustrating part about this game is that it has an auto jump mechanic in case you missed the jump button. The amount of times I die due to this gets insane. We reach a checkpoint and see Elmer Fudd. In order to get past, we need to trick him into running at us so we can bounce off of his head into the next section of the level, Pterodactyl Cliffs. I defeat some more cavemen and make it to a sleeping pterodactyl. If I don't sneak here, it will fly towards me and try to kill me. But by sneaking past, we collect the final clock symbol of this level to unlock the achievement Completionist on the Run, and we exit through the rabbit hole. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I only died 7 times. What achievement is up next? Complete the level without taking any damage? Yep, this achievement set includes completing some levels and bosses without taking any damage. There's a ton of these challenge achievements scattered throughout the game, and you won't believe how long some of them took me to do. For now, it's the first level, so it's not crazy hard. I only failed once on this achievement, where this dickhead managed to hit me with a spiked bat, but on my second run, I crept past the pterodactyl and jumped into the rabbit hole to unlock the achievement Primordial Perfection. Next up is our first boss level.
Shh, be very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits.
This boss is quite simple. We bait Elmer Fudd into looking inside a rabbit hole while we jump out of another, sneak up and kick his ass. Elmer Fudd, more like Elmer Chud. Doing this over and over again gets us 5 golden carrots and a clock symbol. Popping the achievement, guess who got everything? Now, I just need to do this boss again without taking any damage. This is an easy boss fight, but our next one won't be the same story. After the final kick, the achievement Golden Legs unlocks. By collecting 99 regular carrots in the Stone Age so far, we can exchange them for a golden carrot in the hub to unlock the achievement Fossilized Carrot. For now, there is nothing left to do until later on, so it's time to go to our next era, the Pirate Years. From here, the difficulty of the game increases a lot. Our first level is, hey, what's up, Doc? We see Yosemite Sam looking through a spyglass, and as we approach, he starts to chase us, but ends up falling in the water. Merlin shows up and introduces us to a new collectible, Acme boxes. There are 5 to destroy in this level. Speaking of this level, it's incredibly long. We take on crabs, kick open treasure chests, play mini games, and I find the first couple of Acme boxes. I get bullied by a couple of crabs and come to a target across the way. By jumping on this clam, I can pick up a pearl to throw at the target 3 times. I try my best to avoid rolling barrels, and then I pick up a torch and run towards a pirate who is throwing the barrels at us. And just before I can light the TNT, I end up dying. With no checkpoint, I go all the way back to the start of the level. I make my way back and finally blow up the pirate. Finally at the checkpoint, I see a box and a sleeping pirate. By running around, we can make make him tired, kick his ass, and grab a clock symbol. A rabbit hole takes us to the second section of this massive level, Shark Islands. Straight away, we have a pirate that we need to defeat by throwing his own bombs back at him. I use a bone to distract the shark in the water so I can cross over safely. Thinking I was finally finished, the next rabbit hole led me to another section of this level. After defeating some more enemies, I managed to destroy the final Acme box, which gave me a clock symbol, and the achievement Acme Box's Novice. We then came to a mini boss fight. 3 pirates that we need to defeat with bombs. This part always took a bunch of time to get through, but after taking out all 3, I exit through another rabbit hole into another boss fight. Sam is now firing cannonballs at us, and we have to jump on the platforms and avoid them. And like an idiot, I jump back onto the first platform that just got blasted, and it sinks into the water. Look, right, I've not played this game for 25 years. How am I supposed to remember that they sink after being hit? I make it through the rest of the fight by throwing bombs at him to lower his HP, and finally defeat him and grab a clock symbol. But no achievement pops for collecting items. Turns out I've missed a few. Even worse, the boss fight I just did also needs to be done damageless. So I spent the best part of an hour and a half trying to survive this massive level without taking any damage, to make it all the way back to the boss fight just to end up getting hurt and trying it all over again. But here's the funny thing, I assumed because the boss fight was a part of the level, I had to make it all the way through the level without getting hit. It was only after checking the comments on the achievements and I found out it's only when you get to the boss fight that the damageless actually matters. By saving at the last possible checkpoint before the boss fight, I can reset the game and load that checkpoint back up. Don't get me wrong, it's still frustrating, as you need to finish the whole second section of the level every single time just to have another go at the boss fight. But this tactic saved me so much time for future achievements. Now my issue is actually surviving the boss fight. I would spend 5 minutes getting all the way back just to end up falling in the water or getting blasted. Exploring the level some more, I ended up finding the missing golden carrots needed to pop the achievement Dock Explorer, and after what felt like my 20th attempt on this boss fight and the years it took off my life, I finally defeated Sam without taking any damage to unlock the achievement Captain Herblower. When I chose to play a Bugs Bunny game, I didn't expect it to be this ridiculous, and we're still in the early levels of the game. With no other levels to play right now in the pirate years, Merlin opens up our next era to explore, the 1930s. The Big Bank Withdrawal is our next level. We see the gangsters, Rocky and Muggsy, robbing a bank. As they leave, we have some coloured squares to activate. The next area is a mini boss fight. Muggsy is chasing after us on the bottom level, while Rocky throws bombs at us from the top. Muggsy is a dumbass, so by running past the shadows on the floor, we can drop bank safes on his big stupid head. I grab a floating key by stacking up some crates and make it to the top floor, avoiding gangsters with machine guns hiding in flower vases. At the end of this is a switch, which brings down an elevator. The elevator brings us inside the bank, with doors everywhere. Hiding behind these doors are gangsters that I need to defeat, and I've got the perfect weapon, time bombs. I was just jamming to the music while Bugs Bunny actually straight up kills these guys. By moving a bookshelf, I see another gangster, so I ran in and kicked him in the face. Using a time bomb, we blow open the safe to get a key. The key unlocks the vault. There are clock symbols to collect and sleeping guards that will chase us if we set off any of the alarms. On the outside, I see Muggsy take a roof elevator, so I follow him up into a boss fight. Rocky will shoot us if we get too close to him, but by staying on the outside, I can tire Muggsy and knock him out, which will distract Rocky, giving me a chance to attack the Short King. I defeat them, get a clock symbol, and exit the level. But now, it's time to grab 2 achievements by heading back into the level. First is to defeat Rocky and Muggsy without taking damage. I almost did this the first time around, so by taking my time, I managed to unlock the achievement Bugs and Thugs. I forgot how nice and easy these early achievements were. Later on, I end up in Looney Tunes hell. Back in the level, I spent ages looking for the final golden carrots and clock symbols. By using the bombs from Rocky, I blew up the walls on either side to grab the clocks. And then I found the final golden carrot hiding in this flower vase, popping the achievement Bank Robber Bunny. Back in the hub, I climbed a lamppost to find the next level, the Greatest Escape. Rocky and Muggsy enter a hotel, so Bugs Bunny follows them. I have to sneak across wooden planks, and then we find Muggsy lobbing barrels at us. On the first floor, I find some clocks and a strange symbol on the floor that I can't activate just yet. So I collect what I can for now and head to the second floor. Again, another strange symbol, in front of a piano this time. I'll have to ask Merlin about what these symbols do. I make my way to the top floor for another boss fight. I have to wait until Muggsy throws bombs at me, so I can lob them back at him. The first one ends up damaging me, but the rest of the fight is a breeze. I grab the clock, head back into the level, and take on Muggsy one more time, to defeat him without taking any damage to unlock the achievement Bugsy and Muggsy. Muggsy might seem dumb, but later on, he becomes one of the reasons why I almost quit playing this game. For now, we have a new era to check out, the medieval period, with our first level being King, "What's cooking, Doc?" Bugs falls into a cauldron of soup, and when he asks what's cooking,
Rabbit stew?
the first level is huge. We fight guards and knights and take a rabbit hole to the Royal Square. Using small cannonballs, I open up a gate to a golden carrot. Heading into Spiral Tower, we have to run up this twirling tower while avoiding friggin' dragons to make it to the top before the clock symbol gets locked away. In the next section, we have to avoid pits of lava, magical brooms, and Witch Hazel shows up again, who we clobber with a drawbridge. Running uphill, we have to avoid rolling cannonballs and dragons at the same time. This finally leads to a giant room filled with lava. There are tons of items to collect in here, as well as enemies and Acme boxes to destroy. For now, I backtrack back to the beginning and find a small prison room. By knocking out the guard, we can bounce on his big belly over the gates and collect the items. I activate a switch which opens up a gate outside. I end up drowning trying to reach the golden carrot, but then I kick down these barrels which now allows us to explore the water. Heading towards the back is a rabbit hole, and then we see Daffy Duck hiding in the trees. The little shit takes a bunch of our golden carrots if he hits us, so I kick his ass and he runs off. Using a rabbit hole, we destroy some more boxes and end up finding one of Merlin's homes. Here, Merlin makes a deal with us. If we can get his magical cookbook back from Witch Hazel, he will teach us about the weird squares that we keep finding throughout the levels. It's time to kick some witch ass. We send an anvil full speed on top of their head, grab the cookbook, and take it back to Merlin, who in return teaches us our first magic spell, Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, meaning we can now super jump when we see that ability square. We head back through the lava room all the way to the end of the level, where now we have a double boss fight. I somehow managed to defeat them both without taking a single hit, which popped the achievement King of the Castle. We already had 99 carrots from that one level, so I exchanged them for the golden carrot in the hub for the achievement King Arthur's Golden Carrot. I wanted to try out the new magic spell, so I headed back to the Greatest Escape.
Ollie Ollie Oxenfree!
The spell launched me to new areas to grab some more items and boxes. I noticed the other spell in front of the piano again, so I'll have to come back to 100% this level later on. For now, it's time for another achievement. We head into the level when Sam met Bunny. Bugs is on a ship, which Sam is trying to sink, and this turns it into a ship battle. By moving to the right, middle, or left, we can grab the cannonball he fires and fire it back. It requires us to be super speedy. The next phase is really funny. Sam starts to send explosive barrels down below, and by fanning a scroll, we can send them back into him. One of them just about ends up hitting our ship, and of course, this is a damageless boss. For now, I wrap up the boss fight and pop the achievement Sunken Sam for collecting one clock symbol and 2 golden carrots in When Sam Met Bunny. On the second try, I flawlessly wreck his ship to unlock the achievement Cannon Expert. So far, I've been pretty lucky. A lot of these super long levels haven't needed to be done without taking any damage, but that all changes with this next level. Follow the Red Pirate Road. This was my first taste of how the difficulty spikes with this achievement set. Using Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, we jump up and kick a wheel to open up a giant skull mouth to head into the level. Bugs Bunny watches Sam activate a passcode for the boulder, and it's a good thing I was paying attention, because now we need to do that exact same pattern. Inside, we have 3 ways we can go: east, north, and west. We came from the south. Each area has similar things: pirates, wheels, torches, scorpions, and treasure chests. We have to complete certain bits of each room to progress in the next one. A light will shine down once that room is finished. It's a lot of back and forth, avoiding lava and enemies as we go, but I finally activate a pathway in the final room, the east room, to unlock a gate at the start of the level. Heading through the gate, I light the final altar to get the clock symbol in the middle of the dial. Back at the gate is a rabbit hole. This takes us to a deadly area, with pirates hiding in treasure chests, fireballs jumping over platforms that we need to time a jump in order to not get hit, scorpions, pirates throwing barrels, and just the auto jump being a pain, making me fall into the lava. This level suddenly becomes hell. The final pirate wheel changes Sam's eyes on a painting. Back at the start of the level, we now have to do the pattern on the floor, but this time the boulder moves to the left, taking us to the final room. This room is awful. The end of the level is right there, but the 2 moving platforms are tiny. On top of that, you have the fireballs and the lava at the bottom. After taking some damage, I finally make it to the center and exit the level. But now, this whole level needs to be done without taking any damage. That's right, everything from the scorpions, pirates, fireballs, pits of lava, the auto jumping. I can't tell you how flaccid I was to make it all the way to the end of the level which takes a solid 10 minutes by the way, to just end up taking damage in the final room. This killed a lot of my motivation for the game, but I powered through, and after a bunch of tries, I finally made it to the end to pop the achievement, Hidden Her in the Hideout. I prayed that there was no more achievements similar to this, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. Now, let's check out the next era, Dimension X. Oh, this era brings back some bad memories. It has some ridiculous achievements that we have to do later on. Jumping into the first level, the Planet X-File, we see Bugs Bunny wondering where he is, and Marvin the Martian runs past with a clock and races off in his UFO. These Dimension X levels are huge, with tiny platforms to run around on, floating platforms, zappers, and a ton of weird enemies. They are meant to test all of your skill at the game. We come across a robot with a freeze ray and get it to freeze the alien blocking the way. But I also end up getting frozen, and the little shit throws me in the garbage chute, which sends me all the way back to the start of the friggin' level. Making my way back, I kick the alien's frozen corpse, and now have a jumping platform section. God, I hate these things. One wrong jump and it's all the way back again. We have more robots, aliens, 2-ton weights that we have to avoid. I grab a clock symbol and 2 golden carrots while making it past the robot. And guess what? All of that is just the first section of the level. The second section is awful, with tons of back and forth to activate platforms and open up fresh areas, all to make it to this device, which allows me to become a robot. Now I have to take this flimsy little robot and take out laser turrets and other robots. If I die, I am locked into this section, with a brand new robot to carry on. It's so tedious and the aiming is ridiculous. And the worst part? Bugs Bunny isn't even heading this way. You would think I'm clearing the way to make this a safe passage for later on, but no, after it's done, we super jump over to the final teleport, which then sends us into a frustrating boss fight. Here, Marvin has a laser machine. Green lasers need to be rolled under, and red lasers need to be jumped over. There are 4 phases to this fight. After each part, the machine breaks down, giving us a chance to kick him before entering the next phase. The second phase introduces these electric things he shoots at us. These zap the ground on one side. So, while still avoiding the lasers, you have to also look out for which side is going to get zapped. Now, after seeing all of this, from the start of the second section, all the way through the robot part, to this boss fight, what if I told you all of that needs to be done damageless? Yep, we're coming back to this later on. I do not have the patience for that right now. I grab all 4 clock symbols and leave the level. Turns out, I missed just 1 clock, so I head back in and grab it to unlock the achievement The Truth Was Out There. Back at the 1930s, we have one of my favorite levels in the game. At least it used to be until this playthrough. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Rocky and Muggsy spot us watching them throw all of the money they stole from the bank into their car.
Hey, Muggsy, look, a witness. Get that stupid rabbit.
Bugs Bunny jumps into a car and a chase starts. This is a fun-ass level. It's super speedy and we have bullets and cars to avoid. The steering is all over the place, but that just adds to the craziness of the level. If we crash, it sends us all the way back to the start of that section. The boys get ahead of us and start throwing bombs. Then, the next section puts Bugs Bunny on a motorbike, with ramps to jump over while we collect items. My personal favourite part of this level is the third section, where a big crash happens and Bugs Bunny, Rocky and Muggsy all end up on a 3-way bike together. Classic Looney Tunes. It splits and we end up on a unicycle while avoiding bombs and these 3 cars. Past the farmhouse, we are now on a goat jumping over pigs. You can see why this was my favourite as a kid. It's so much fun. And we have a clean finish as Bugs Bunny jumps and grabs the final clock. To unlock the achievement, objects in the mirror are all collected. In the hub, I can also get the golden carrot to grab 99 carrots, see? And the bunny gets it. And here is where my fun goes out of the window. I now have to jump back in and do the whole level without dying. Look at how easy I got past these 3 cars on the first time I played this level. But in the deathless runs, I don't know what happened to me. These cars became impossible to dodge. It's like they could read my friggin' mind, and I was getting angry. Every time I failed, it was a whole fresh run up until this part. It took about 25 minutes before I had the perfect run to finally pop the achievement Baby Driver. Moving on, we have Lacarida, a short and sweet boss fight. As Bugs, we need to trick the bull into slamming into the targets scattered around the area. Finishing, we get 2 achievements. El Toro Fuerte for defeating Toro the Bull without taking any damage, and Target Practice for collecting 1 clock symbol and 5 golden carrots. Back to the Stone Age, we have a classic Looney Tunes moment, Wabbit or Duck Season. Elmer Fudd is deciding who to hunt, so we have to beat Daffy to turn around all of the signs to make it Duck Season. But like an idiot, I made all of them Bugs Bunny's face, thinking I was winning, which made Elmer shoot at me. By turning them all to Daffy Duck, we get 2 achievements. Duck Season, for before the clock stops, have all of the signs show Daffy's face at the same in time, and Clock Season for collecting 1 clock symbol. While exploring the areas to find my next level, I ended up grabbing the golden carrot from the pirate years to get Yo Ho Ho and a golden carrot for exchanging 99 carrots. Back at Dimension X, it's time for a boss fight. We take a rocket to find Marvin the Martian's base. He's making a giant carrot and starts to fire at us. Throughout the fight, small green objects appear on the circular stage, and by picking them up and throwing them at Marvin's UFO, they turn into aliens. After avoiding his lasers and piling up the UFO with as many aliens as possible, his ship becomes too heavy and falls, allowing us to collect all of the clock symbols and grab the achievement Overclocked Vortex. Heading back in, the second time, I didn't get hit by any of his lasers to pop the achievement Uranium PU-36 for defeating Marvin in Vortex Room without taking damage. This unlocks a new level in the medieval period, Which Way to Albuquerque. Starting at Hazel's Hill, this is a long chase level with Acme boxes, falling rocks, deadly jumps, and Hazel trying to turn us into rabbit stew. There are little timer clocks to pick up to make sure we can complete each section in enough time. The chase then takes us through some woods with falling trees, lily pads we need to jump on, and water to avoid. It's a really fun level, but it does have a ton of sections, and that's a problem because later on we have to come back and finish this level without dying. Towards the end are windmills to look out for and pigs to jump on to grab more items. But the ending of this level is super interesting as we managed to get 3 whole achievements. Speedy Searcher for collecting every item, Acme Boxes Expert for destroying 10 Acme boxes and getting a clock symbol. And if we turn around, we spot Merlin, who gives us a brand new spell and an achievement. Believe me, if all those endearing young charms, for learning the magical tune from Merlin. With the magical tune now unlocked, I can finally head back to the Greatest Escape and play the piano. We now have all of the clocks and carrots in this level to unlock the achievement Building Inspector. As we finish, Merlin pops up.
Great. Just perfect. You have completed this level.
We head into Conquest for Planet X. This is a race against Marvin, who of course cheats right at the start before the countdown is even finished. There's loads of different caves we can enter that teleport us to different places. We find clocks and carrots while avoiding falling boulders and aliens around the level. If Marvin beats us to the top, we lose, and we have to start again. A couple of tries later, I managed to grab every single item and beat Marvin in the race to grab the achievement Planet Explorer. I head back to What's Cooking Dock to try out our new spell. The Vulture takes us up top, where I find a ton of golden carrots, an Acme box, and some more clock symbols, before heading into a new area of the level. At the Gardens, I find more items, take out some guards, use an anvil to launch up for more carrots, and then we use some apples from a tree to grab another clock symbol. I still need to learn more spells before this level is 100% complete, so I wrap it up for now and save my progress. By collecting all of those fresh clocks, we now have the level, the Carrot Henge Mystery. We watch Witch Hazel try to capture Bugs Bunny, and after chasing us, she ends up turning herself into a toad with her own spell, which gives us a chance to explore this new level. In every game I play, why is there always damn ice physics? From having snowball fights with Daffy Duck, trying to make it across the freezing water by carefully landing on the ice, this level has a lot for us to do. By activating a drawbridge, we come to a mountain surrounded by locked gates. Heading up the mountain by dodging the falling snowballs, we find Merlin at the top, in front of a frozen clock with star shapes around it. Merlin gives us a brand new spell and the achievement Open Sesame for learning the magical password from Merlin. Heading back down and using
Open Sesame.
We can now enter into the different challenge rooms scattered around. The first one has deep snow. Digging around, we escape and find some snowshoes, which allows us to take out the knights, and we find a star. The star flies up and lands in the first hole surrounding the frozen clock. Back outside and holy crap, a dragon! Jumping on all of the dragons gives us golden carrots and a clock. The second challenge room is Slide Her. A timer starts, and with super slippery physics, we slowly make our way up to grab the next star, and then we take a fun slide all the way back down. The third room is Robin Duck's Lair. We see Daffy Duck run off with a star, and he ends up blocking us with a stick, but I just run straight at him and kick him to obtain the star. The next room is the cavern. We have shape matching puzzles to complete in order to get the next star. Then, by heading all the way back to the start of the level, we can find another one of Merlin's homes to get the next spell, Hocus Pocus. Still looking for more collectibles, it takes me 20 minutes to figure out that one of the stone pillars on top of the mountain can be be pushed to open up a slide. The slide leads us to the final star, which finally unlocks the clock symbol. But I'm still missing one golden carrot, and after another 10 minutes of searching, I got all the way back to the snowball fight with Daffy Duck at the start of the level, and I just happened to kick this snowman to grab the achievement, a thoroughly investigated mystery. Now, I have to do that level without taking any damage. With all the challenge rooms complete and the frozen clock now collected, I just have to rush to the top of the mountain. But me and ice levels don't mix well. I kept slipping and falling into the water over and over again. After a bunch of retries, I managed to make it to the mountain section, avoided the snowballs, and got the achievement Sasquatch Hunter. Thank God I didn't have to do the entire level, but little did I know, the super hard levels were almost here. Now that I had all of the spells unlocked, I was able to head into What's Cooking Dock and break open all of the boxes and use my new spell.
Hocus pocus.
Grabbing the flag allowed me to unlock this drawbridge for a clock symbol, and finally heading all the way back to Daffy in the forest, I kicked the trees to grab the last few golden carrots to unlock Castle Explorer, for finally collecting 15 clock symbols and 37 golden carrots in What's Cooking Dock. The final level of the Stone Age was now available, Magical Herblower, a nighttime version of the very first level we played, filled with the spells we've learned, much harder platforming, and a ton of enemies. I enjoyed my first time going through this level. It was the first time I felt like I had become more skilled at the game, but I was about to be instantly humbled. After making it through the level by using fans, running across falling bridges, jumping over dinosaurs, and sneaking past the pterodactyls, I found an Acme box that started to move. Scared the absolute shit out of me. Not a single box has done this so far, and this is the only one in the game that does it. 2 more boxes later, and I finally unlocked the achievement Acme Boxes Intermediate. The worst section of this level was towards the end. I had to roll through holes that led directly in front of cavemen who would just bash me the second I got through. This level was a pain, and for collecting everything, I got the achievement A Big Fan of the Stone Age. And of course, I have to do the whole level without taking any damage. Straight away, I got hit by a boulder thrown by a caveman. After making some progress from restarting, the same dickhead from the first level whacked me with his bat. I got stung by a scorpion, and then this part. My god, the way these boulders move is just frustrating. The more angry I got, the more mistakes I was making. The auto jump was really letting me down in parts. My final hit came from this caveman. He was just waiting for me to roll through, but after a lot of shouting and calling Bugs Bunny names that I cannot repeat, I made it to the end and got the damageless achievement Prehistoric Perfection. This game has no reason to be this stressful. I used Open Sesame in Follow the Red Pirate Road to grab the last few items needed for the achievement X marks the spot. And now it's time for the final level of the pirate years, and geez, it's awful. Sam is seen running off with a clock and seals himself inside a cave. We use pearls to open up the way while grabbing some carrots. I used torches to put out a fire, yeah, that one confused me, defeated some pirates to jump over to a checkpoint, grabbed a wheel to open up a gate at the start of the level, and jumped on a rope and a barrel to get all the way back. After grabbing some clocks and carrots, we used TNT barrels to enter in the cave that Sam escaped through. And this became one of the most frustrating parts of the game, a minecart section, filled with multiple pathways, so many friggin' boxes and carrots to collect, and enemies trying anything to take us out. Jumping to avoid gaps in the track and changing the direction of the minecart using the targets took ages to search for every single item. The final part becomes a boss fight against Sam in his own minecart. We had to slam into him while also avoiding the TNTs placing on the tracks. It's incredibly slow, and the amount of damage I took was insane. After finishing the level for the first time, I was exhausted, but I still needed 2 clocks and 3 golden carrots. The first section of the level is so slow to play through just to make it to the minecart, but on my second try, I managed to grab the last few items I needed to get the achievement, only a minor inconvenience. Now it was time, the major inconvenience. Taking out Sam in the minecart without taking damage. This took the piss. With no checkpoints, I spent so long making it all the way to the boss fight just to get hit by a TNT barrel. And honestly, when I finally got the achievement, Minecart Carnage, I couldn't believe it just took me an hour to complete. But do I get a break? Nope, because the next level has the worst achievement of the entire game. It's not even the hardest level. The harder levels are still coming, but this one achievement right now took 5 months to finish. Before I explain why, let's get through the level first. The Carrot Factory. This level is unnecessarily huge. We have keys to track down in order to make it through the factory. There are vents, platforms, steam and fire, Muggsy chases us, and there's other gangsters to avoid. Going inside this vent takes us to a warehouse section. Here, we have to chase a mouse who has stolen the key needed to escape. Chasing the mouse down was was a pain. It's super fast and has a ton of mouse holes to escape through, but after some time, I finally grabbed it and entered into the second section of this annoying ass level. We see more machines with rolling pins, crushes, and just traps around every corner. This is a section that we can save before making it to the boss room, and this is a very important checkpoint for the crazy achievement coming up. I spent some time making sure I have every single item collected. Heading to another warehouse to get another key, I avoid a bunch of traps to head into the boss fight for the first time. This is the fight that ruined the entire game for me. It's another damageless boss. We have Rocky on the other side of the room and two conveyor belts in the center. By activating the switch right in front of Rocky, we can drop a weight on him, doing some damage. Muggsy then appears. We need to run to Muggsy, grab a hammer off the wall, and smack him. This brings Rocky back out, and we repeat the process until Rocky is defeated. So, why is this achievement so difficult? Because it's basically RNG. In order to do this without taking any damage, we have to make it over the conveyor belts without falling. The conveyor belts have random gangsters in barrels who will show up and they shoot in a random direction. Where the switches are in front of Rocky is a single piece of electricity that follows a path that we need to avoid. Rocky can randomly shoot at us for no reason, and on top of all this, we have Muggsy. For the rest of the playthrough, he has been a slow dumbass showing no threat, but now he's a friggin' aimbot with cat-like reflexes. The second I approach him, he shoots at us. Trying to grab the hammer and hit him without him turning around and shooting at us feels impossible. This entire section destroyed me. I wrapped up the boss fight to finish up the level and grabbed the last few collectibles to get the achievement Factory Findings. I now have a checkpoint set up at the second section of the level. Just to make it to the boss fight, I have to avoid the traps every single damn time. Sometimes I would get into the room and be shot straight away. The anger I have for this single achievement just can't be explained. Reading through the comments on Retro Achievements, it's clear that others have struggled with this as well. And after 2 hours of attempts, I threw my controller and gave up for the night. That night was the 2nd of September 2025. Over the next few months, in between different games, I would jump back on to keep trying and trying. An hour here and an hour there on the game before giving up again. Fast forward to January 29th, 2026. An entire 5 months since I started this playthrough. I wasn't gonna let this achievement beat me. 2 more hours of getting shot by Muggsy, the gangsters, Rocky, being electrocuted, getting past all of the traps every single damn time just to take on this ridiculous boss fight. I held my breath and managed to get Rocky down to 1 final hit. I somehow avoided 8 entire shots from Muggsy. I dodged 1 more as I smashed him with the hammer, jumped over to Rocky, over the electric, and finally, the achievement Canned Weapon was mine. This was the happiest I've ever felt getting an achievement, but I can't celebrate for too long. We still have the rest to get, which includes 2 of the hardest levels in the game to do, but the RNG bullshit was finally done. It's far from over, but I took in this victory, and I was motivated like never before to finish this game. Let's do this. Back at Which Way to Albuquerque, I just have to finish the level without taking any damage. The only thing that was letting me down was the auto jumping. Falling off of the cliffs or into the water each time was so annoying, but I made it to the end and popped the achievement Witch Challenge. Back at Dimension X, I grabbed the golden carrot for the achievement, a carrot from space. The final level of the medieval period was Downhill Duck, an easy ski level where we just have to race Daffy Duck down to the bottom of the hill. My first few tries I got hit by falling snowballs, ran into a few fences, and reached the bottom to grab the achievement, no problem at all. Heading back in and flawlessly completing the level gets us Ski Specialist. Heading back to Conquest for Planet X, I avoid the boulders and aliens without getting hit, and beat Marvin in the race to pop the achievement Martian Maggot. And now we have the first of 2 very frustrating levels. First up, Planet X File. Earlier on, I brought up how annoying the second section of this level was, having to head to different areas filled with lasers and enemies just to make it all the way through to the robot section. From here, I have to take on other robots and laser turrets in order to have Bugs Bunny make it to the boss fight against Marvin. This is the boss fight we need to do without taking any damage. The second we do take damage, I have to do that entire section from the checkpoint again. The boss fight itself is a nightmare. The lasers that Marvin fires have a horrific hitbox, and luckily there is a way around this. By using the dive with Bugs Bunny, we do get some invincibility frames, letting us avoid the lasers. But we still have to be careful, as sometimes Marvin will just fire the lasers early. We also have the electric shots he fires to avoid. These zap the ground or try to home in on us. This fight is 4 phases long. That's a lot of time for one little thing to go wrong. Getting all the way to the first phase of the fight after trailing through the annoying section section of the main level just to instantly get hit by a laser was rage-inducing. For what felt like hours, I was at this, my brain on autopilot until I got to the boss fight. Loss after loss, I finally had a run and I made it through the first phase just fine. I chose the right side to start the second phase, so I didn't get hit right away. I got lucky and was out of range during the third phase, and the electric shots also missed me. And finally, the fourth phase. Marvin threw everything at me, and I avoided it all. And with a final kick, the achievement, Laser Dodging Expert, was mine. 1 down, 1 to go. It's the final level of the entire game. Train your brain. If there's one thing I suck at when it comes to gaming, it's memory puzzles. And guess what this level is full of? This is the most exhausting achievement I've ever had to complete. The RNG Carrot Factory was annoying, but this required 200% of my brain power. First, let's cover the level. The level begins with a color matching game. We just copy the aliens' movements and make it past the first section. The only annoying thing about this is how slow this section is. I get some clocks and carrots and end up falling trying to jump on some platforms. The next puzzle is memorizing the different colored squares and then matching them. Again, not super difficult, but very time consuming. The next section has platforming. From jumping on floating, disappearing platforms, colored squares that disappear over time, the red squares that will burn you if you step on them. We have switches to turn on while jumping over floating platforms. Then we have electric gates to run through and 2 zappers that we have to avoid. This next puzzle was a fever dream. Deep inside my memory was this section. As a kid, I knew I remembered making it this far, but I could never complete it. Here, we have a ton of colors that we can set the squares to. Our goal is to match the correct combination that the master is hiding. Once a color is confirmed in the right place with a crown, it won't appear again in that section. Get the pattern wrong and a laser will attack us. Over time, I can work out what the pattern is, but this part always took a bunch of time to get through. We get a clock for finishing, and now it's time for the final section of this damn level, the Space Speedway. A race against an alien on hover scooters. Not only do we need to win this race, but there are poles that we need to swing around, and by letting go, we make it to the next layer. And as you can see, this part of the game is awful. The delay when letting go of the poles got me killed a bunch. The scooters are hard enough to control, especially with the boosters. Bugs Bunny putting his arm out to grab the poles always feels like it randomly changes. Wrapping up the level for the first time and grabbing the final golden carrot gets us the achievement, Train Your Eyes. And now, it's time for the final achievement, Train Your Patience, for completing the entire level without taking any damage. This is a fitting final challenge for this game. All the bullshit this game has thrown at me wrapped up into one frustratingly long level. Getting through the memory games was easy, but just the patience it takes is exhausting. The amount of mess ups I had in this tiny section with the zappers was ridiculous. Then, having to take on the master every single time to finally make it to the race. Good God, the race. There's nothing more flaccid than taking 10 minutes to get all the way here just for Bugs Bunny to piss off in a random direction after letting go. My motivation sinking every single time I had to make it through this excruciatingly long level. Learning how many swings each of the 4 poles takes and the exact right time to let go took hours to learn. My only motivation being that this was the final achievement of the game kept me going. 5 entire months of boss fights, damageless levels, tons of collectibles, and frustrating achievements led me to my final run, where I just about got ahead of the alien, swung on the final pole, and finished the level to finally pop the achievement, Train Your Patience. And by jumping into the time machine one final time, Bugs Bunny is no longer lost in time and returns to the present day to finally unlock the achievement, Back to the Future. And with that, Bugs Bunny Lost in Time has finally been mastered. To watch me struggle with another Retro Achievements playthrough, you can click on the next video on the screen right now. Thank you for watching.